for a field goal here. Looking to fire. And it's picked off for the third time today.
Bitch ass nigga, you sorry as fuck. You sorry as fuck, nigga. You sorry. Hey, I feel like I'm Gucci Mane in 2006. All these diamonds dancing on my fucking neck cost like 4 bricks. And oh yeah, I be towing on that strap, don't make no sense. He $1 million nigga, but be posting enough bricks.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Dizzy, and we back with another episode of Halftime with Dizzy, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We only got a couple more of these, man. The final stage is set. Super Bowl 60 will be taking place in San Francisco between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots, man. Obviously, there's no bigger story in sports. I appreciate you tuning in so that we could break it down, man. Let's not waste no time. Let's get into the game plan. For the halftime headlines, we're just going to hop in the film room, man, break down some film. I'm going to show you 2 things that each team could do in order to be victorious, man. I'm excited for that. It's been a while since I've broken down some film. From there, we're going to go to He's Diffy. Usually after He's Diffy, I do predictions. But next week, I'm going to have my boys Chase and Bo. They're diehard fans of both teams. They're going to be on the show, and that's when I'm going to do my prediction for Super Bowl 60, man. So from He's Diffy, we're going to go to the halftime speech to wrap it all up. As I record this, we are just under 300 subscribers, man. The goal is 350, so please, please, please keep hitting that subscribe button if you're new. If you're not new, please share with a friend, man. I know you guys know people that love football, that love good vibes, love breaking down film, all that stuff, man. So please hit that share button, share with somebody new. Let's continue to grow this platform, man. And once we hit 350 subs, I'll be doing a giveaway with some 2 nice merch, some gift cards, and other goodies as well, man. So please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Let's get into the show. Like I said, I'm going to be breaking down some film and showing you 2 things that each team could do in order to be victorious on Super Bowl Sunday in a couple of weeks, man. I'm going to start with the team that opens up as the favorite to win the Super Bowl, man. That's the Seattle Seahawks. There's something on offense and something on defense that I think they could do in order to beat the Patriots, starting with what they can do offensively. I think they got to get creative early. I wrote down on my list, they got to counter the Patriots counter. Now, that may not make a lot of sense right now, but I'm going to break it down for you a little bit. Hopefully it makes a little bit more sense. All right. The Seahawks love to establish the run early. Okay. I went through every single one of their drives in the NFC Championship game against the Rams. They had 10 drives. 7 of those drives started with a run play. That's 70% of your drives where you're starting with a run play. You want to get Kenneth Walker going early, right? That becomes a tendency. That is something that the Patriots are going to key in on and look to disrupt, especially because of the success that New England has had against the run. During the regular season, they were 6th against the run. In the playoffs, they've been number 1 in rush yards allowed per game. So they're going to be looking to stop that run and not allow this Seattle offense to get any early momentum, especially when you're going to look at Sam Darnold and say, you're going to have to beat us on 2nd and 3rd down. We're not going to make it easy. We're not going to make it 2nd and 5, 3rd and 2 in order for Sam Darnold to make easy, quick completions in those big time situations. Now, when it comes to stopping the run, a lot of it comes from anticipation. A lot of it comes from just having quick reaction and really guessing. If we're being real, you see a certain down block and you guess it's a run and you shoot the gap right away. That leaves a lot of vulnerability in the back end. That leaves a lot of one-on-ones, which if you're Seattle, you love that because you have a route tech in JSN and you have one of the fastest guys in the league in Rashid Shaheed. So what I would want to see Clint Kubiak do is early in the game, dial up play action passes, get Sam Darnold on the edge and throw those overs, those comebacks, even those fade balls like they did against the Rams. It wasn't a play action play, but I think if you get out of your tendency a little bit to counter what they're going to try to counter your run game with, I think that you can have a lot of success early, and it opens up the run game later in the game because now those backers, those safeties are going to be a little more hesitant to shoot the gaps right away. So that's something that I think they can do to beat up on this Patriots defense a little bit. Let's switch over to what I think Seattle should do on the defensive side of the ball in order to be victorious, man. When I was in college at Rocky Mountain College, go Battling Bears, all right? It's been a lot of movement over there. They cleared house like a month. Hey, it's not uncommon, that when the Diz leaves somewhere, it just goes to shit. All right. I'm just saying, but anyway, all right. When I was over there at Rocky Mountain College, our field goal block unit was led by one of our D-line coaches, Coach Wilson. All right. And his rule of thumb was we're going to find the chink in the armor. What he would say specifically is we're going to find the bitch. All right. And that's who we're going to rush at to try to block this kick. If the Seahawks use that same rule of thumb on defense, they will be going at Will Campbell every single play with everything they got. All right. Now, I'm not, listen, all right. If this happens to blow up and go viral or whatever, it probably won't. But I ain't calling Will Campbell no bitch, okay? I sure as hell couldn't get by him, okay? And I am someone who believes he was worthy of being a top 5 pick and will be a staple in this Patriots franchise. I mean, he's only a rookie. And in his first year in the playoffs, he had to go against Khalil Mack, Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, Nick Bonito, all in back-to-back weeks. So anyone will struggle when you're going up against those elite rushers. But you know, the fact is the fact. He struggled. And so if I'm looking at Will Campbell and what he's done against these rushers, if I'm Seattle, I'm throwing everything at him. And let's break down some film to show why he struggled a little bit. So we're going to start with a play that took place in the first round of the playoffs against the Chargers, man. Will Campbell is up here one-on-one with Odafe Owe. And let's talk about why he's one-on-one, okay? It's because of the look that the Patriots are getting up front. You got your nose right here in between this guard and tackle, so they're going to combo on that. You got another tackle that's over the guard, so he's one-on-one there. And then you got a wide 9 here that this tackle is going to have to kick out to. Your running back is over here helping out. So Will Campbell's one-on-one on an island, and he knows that he's over there on that island. So what he does is he kicks out pretty slowly because he doesn't want to get hit with the up and under by Owe. So all Owe has to do because of his slow kick is he has to get off the ball, do a quick stutter, and go right around him to sack the quarterback, man. Let's take a look. Ball snap, quick stutter, right around him. Gets to the quarterback, forces a fumble. This next clip comes against the Houston Texans in the second round of the playoffs, and it's the exact same look. Will Campbell's going to be one-on-one with Will Anderson up here, and the reason he's one-on-one is because, again, you got a nose that's going to be comboed by the guard and center. You got one-on-ones on your right side of the line between the tackle and the guard. So, again, Will Campbell's going to be on an island up there, and another bad habit that Will Campbell has is he doesn't restart his feet quick enough. When he gets approached with a bull rush, he kind of just backpedals. And when he feels like that space is finally eaten up, he gets caught on his heels and gives Will Anderson really a two-way go. Will Anderson could go either way here, but ultimately Will Anderson fights the hands and gets around him for the sack. Let's take a look. Ball snap. Look, Campbell's just backpedaling. Engage. Gets ripped through, and Anderson's able to make the play. Will Campbell and really this Patriots O-line as a whole kind of struggles a bit more when they're faced with a stunt, okay? Drake May and Travion Henderson in the backfield are going to fake wide zone. They're trying to get some sort of play action, deep shot here. And so when you're going outside zone, stretch, wide zone, whatever you want to call it, it's gap scheme. So everyone is stepping over to the next gap, and whoever shows up in that gap is who you wind up picking up. So Will Campbell does a good job of stepping over and engaging with this guy here. What ends up happening though is his man kind of falls back almost like a spy, and then Will Anderson is going to loop all the way underneath and have a wide open lane to the quarterback. The reason why he has that wide open lane is because Will Campbell is so locked in here that when he steps back, he kind of stops stepping down to fill space and to get to the next gap. And Will Anderson has a wide open lane to go through. What Will Campbell has to understand is that dealing with stunts, when D linemen run stunts, it's kind of like a glory hole. When one man leaves, another man is coming. So he's got to continue to step down and see where the next guy is going to run in from. So let's take a look on how Will Campbell gets caught up in this stunt here. Campbell steps down, engages, but then when he leaves, he still has his eyes there and misses Anderson coming underneath for the sack. So again, if I'm the Seattle defense, I'm throwing everything at Will Campbell, man. He's a rookie playing in the biggest game of his life. Throw everything at him, man. Stunts, put him on an island one-on-one, make him and his O-line work a little extra to protect Drake May and find those receivers downfield. Let's move on to what I think the Patriots need to do in order to be successful in Super Bowl 60. The first thing that the Patriots absolutely have to do if they want to win Super Bowl 60 is they have to get pressure on Sam Darnold. Now, that sounds easier said than done, right? How do you put pressure on Sam Darnold? You got to go stunts, you got to go send pressure, and you got to disguise your looks on the back end. I went through all of Sam Darnold's interceptions during the regular season. He threw 14 of them. 10 of them came in which he either had pressure in his face or the DBs disguised their look and confused Darnold into throwing somewhere he shouldn't have been throwing. So let's get into the film and break it down a little bit. These first few clips, I just want to show you what Darnold does when he has pressure in his face. He has this bad habit of having his feet go towards the sidelines. His chest is going towards the end zone before he throws the ball, and it leads to bad throws. I had coaches in college who would coach up the quarterbacks and say, you always want your chest towards the sideline and you want your feet and shoulders towards your target in order to make an accurate throw. But watch Darnold. Every single time he has pressure, he squares those feet up and it leads to a bad throw. Let's look at this first clip against the Commanders. Ball snap, drops back, scramble, see some pressure, squares his feet up. Throws a bad ball. It's the same thing in this next clip against the Rams. Play action, pressure in his face, squares his feet up, bad throw, interception. Here's another example against the Rams. Gets some pressure, ends up in a position that no football player and really no man should ever be in, and that's feet in the air. And of course, that leads to another interception. Then again against Carolina, Kenneth Walker gets pushed into his lap, his feet square up, overthrows JSN, and it's an interception. But again, the question becomes, how do you get this pressure on Sam Darnold? Well, it's one of two things. Either simulated pressure or you disguise your looks to make Darnold think that you're in a certain coverage that you're really not. Okay, so let's look at this first play where the Rams did it against him during the regular season. Okay, so simulated pressure means that there are guys that look like they're going to blitz, but really they're going to drop out. So if you look at this look right here, it looks like all of these guys are blitzing. Okay, maybe you can even add a couple more on the outside, but at least those on the line of scrimmage, it looks like they're coming, right? So as a quarterback, what you think when you see cover zero and you see all out blitz is you got to get to a hot route. And who's a better guy to turn to than Jackson Smith and Jigba this season? He's going to run a slant here. And so Darnold thinks, especially with this guy playing outside leverage, that is an easy touchdown, but it's simulated pressure. Not everyone is coming. The last person you expect to drop out is a big D tackle in the middle right here, but that's exactly what happens. He drops right underneath this slant route out here by JSN. Darnold doesn't even see him or doesn't anticipate him dropping out and throws it right to the big man. Let's take a look. Thinks everyone's coming. Big man drops out, throws it right to him. Get the oxygen mask. This next clip comes in the same game against the Rams, man. Again, it looks like all of these guys up here are blitzing, right? And it also looks like straight man across the board based on the alignment. So Sam Darnold is thinking, okay, I got two slants to my left, and I'm going to hit whichever one has the best leverage. What he doesn't know is that everyone's going to drop into zone. So he's going to zone turn again, giving up the inside. That leverage is going to be won by Rashid Shaheed, but he doesn't know that this guy has the curl flat here, hook curl here, and then you got deep third, and he's your curl flat here. So when he sees that this guy's going to kind of open up as a zone turn, giving up this inside leverage, he's going to fire to Shaheed, thinking he has no time because all of these guys are blitzing up here. But it's zone actually, and right here, he's going to drop underneath that slant and get picked off. Let's take a look. Ball snap. He thinks he has a slant. Nope. Interception. Again, just disguising looks to confuse the quarterback. This last clip is against the Buccaneers from earlier in the season. Now, this look kind of looks a little crazy, right? It kind of looks a little tricky. Something fishy's going on, right? When you're up on the line, you may think that, again, it may be just straight cover zero and you got man here, maybe man here. These two out here are for your two receivers stacked up, and you got a backer for your running back. That's what you may think, especially on second and short if they're trying to sell out to stop the run, right? So Darnold, he's going to have a motion down here and a quick slant there. And that's where he's going to try to throw it to, which might be the right decision based on what Tampa ends up doing. They end up running a fire pressure, which means they're going to have multiple guys blitz from this side and then run zone behind it. It's a fire zone. He's going to come out here. This guy's actually going to drop and play a hook. And then you got two deep players. I'm sure you got a safety somewhere back here as well. The problem is Darnold, because he's confused by the look, he just takes too long to throw the ball. So take a look here. You're going to get motion down. Slants there now. But he gets confused, takes too long, interception. So again, if I'm New England, I'm disguising looks. I'm sending stunts. I'm sending sim pressures, all types of stuff to get in Sam Darnold's head a little bit. This is the biggest game of his career, and he hasn't always been clutch. He played really well against the Rams, but we know he hasn't always played clutch in big games. Confuse him. Give him different looks. Give him different looks on the back end. Make him think it's man. Make him think it's zone, and then wound up being in another coverage. That's how I think you can force Sam Darnold to throw interceptions and turn the ball over, man. Let's move on to the next thing that I think the Patriots have to do. This time it's on the offensive side of the ball. If the Patriots want to have success, I think it comes from them getting their receivers open and having some separation. I only have a couple clips, but in these clips you can see how receivers that get physical against Seattle's DBs get open, and that's what the Patriots have to do. Let's take a look real quick. So let's look at how these Rams receivers were able to get open by using their physicality against these Seahawks DBs. Again, I think in order for Drake May to have open targets, these Patriots receivers are going to have to get physical with these Seahawk DBs, man. Let's take a look at Devontae Adams up top, one-on-one with Devin Witherspoon, man. He's not going to get thrown off his route when Witherspoon tries to get handsy. He's going to actually eat up the space, give him some hands, and then cut inside on this slant. Devin Witherspoon actually stumbles because Devontae is being so physical. Let's take a look. Eats up the space, fights through the hands, pushes off, open for the slant route. Big gain. This next one is during the regular season. Puka Nacua is going to motion out and then run a stop route at the sticks. Again, a DB is going to try to throw him off his route and get physical, but Puka doesn't allow it. He plays physical back, has strong hands, and makes the catch on this stop route, which is going to be important for the next clip that I'm going to show. But let's look at this one first. Motions out, ball snap. Look, tries to get hands on, fights off. Just enough separation for Stafford to get the ball in there and Puka to make the catch. This last clip was a touchdown in the NFC Championship game that Seattle fans are still having nightmares about because Tariq Woolen had a bad penalty just a few moments before that led to this touchdown, man. Puka Nacua is going to run a quick little stop and then outside release on the go and be wide open. The reason why he's wide open is because, again, he avoids the physicality, gets a little physical himself when going up against Tariq Woolen. Woolen, again, you see that last play, which was a stop route. He knows that Puka likes to get here, eat up that cushion, and come back to the ball. So Woolen wants to collision that stop route there and either be on his hip pocket when he tries to go back to the ball or be holding him up when he tries to run the stop and go. But what Puka does is he gives a little shimmy, gives a little swim move, sidestep, and then outside releases to the front pylon, and Tariq Woolen is reaching for nothing but air. Let's take a look. Eats up the cushion, stop. Oh, quick avoid that contact. Good swim move, touchdown. So again, I think that if the Patriots receivers want to create that separation and get open for Drake May to find them, they got to be physical and they got to avoid Seattle's physicality on the back end. Now, you may be looking at these clips and saying, well, the Patriots don't have Devontae Adams. They don't have Puka Nacua. That's true. But being physical, you know this if you played the game of football. Being physical is a mindset. Not letting somebody move you against your will, that is a mindset. And the Patriots receivers, Kayshon Boutte, Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, as well as others, they got to have that mindset of we are going to put our hands on them. They're not going to put their hands on us in order to get open for Drake May. Those are the things that these two teams have to do in order to be successful. Let me know if you enjoyed this, man. Let's move on to He's Different.
Wide open and a flick into the end zone by Jerome Simpson. Oh, goodness.
First up on He's Diffy, man, Jackson Smith and Jigba, man. If you watch the game, then you already know where I'm going with this because this dude's an absolute stud. It was a battle of the top two receivers from the 2025 season, man. Puka Nacua and JSN shined as he always does, man. 10 catches, 153 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, most of that in the first half. Bro was going crazy. Shout out to him, man. Next up on He's Diffy, Sam Darnold. Of course, we got to talk about the guy who was throwing JSN the ball. 346 pass yards and 3 touchdowns in that NFC win. Hey, a lot of people are filling out apology forms for Sam Darnold because, a lot of people ain't believing him. I was one of them, and he showed up. He showed up big time in that NFC Championship game, man. JSN and Sam Darnold is who was different. Usually I have 3 people, but in the other game, Patriots Broncos, I mean, who was really different? All right, the snow, maybe Sean Payton for not kicking a field goal. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. All right, but there was nobody that had no crazy performances. All right, so I'm gonna go with JSN and Sam Darnold for He's Diffy. Like I said, I'm not doing predictions today because I'll be saving that for next week when I have my boys Chase and Bo on the show with me, man. So let's go on to the halftime speech.
The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins. There's a difference, right? There's a difference.
I'm hurt, dog. Don't ask me if I'm all right. Hell no. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it. I'm putting my heart in this, dog. Let's go, man. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Lord, just want to start your heart and find out who you really are. Make sure you look at your teammate today, and you come out and you give pure hell today. This team ain't ready for us. Let's prove that they ain't ready for us. Oh, get in here. Let's go. Get in here right now. Get in here. Hey, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives.
Halftime speech, man, you already know what it is. Just a little nugget to help you get through the rest of your day, week, month, year, wherever you are in life. I'm hoping something I say can help motivate you just a little bit. The same way that a head coach walks into the locker room after the first 2 quarters and says, hey, this is what happened. This is what we need to fix. And he gives a speech to motivate his team to get through the rest of the game, man. My little message to you today, man, it comes kind of from what I heard at church this past week. Shout out to Pastor Demetrius at Calvary Chapel, Northtown, man. We were going through the Gospel of Luke, and one of the things that he talked about was don't do things just for show. Don't do things just to please man and for the glitz and the glamour, man. Do things for the right reasons, all right? Have the right reasons in mind and at heart, because when you do things for man, when you do things just for glitz and glamour and do things to impress the world, you miss out on the great blessings that God is trying to give you and the lessons that God is trying to teach you with what you are doing. And you ultimately, a lot of times you end up disappointed. Really, you end up disappointed because you're doing things for views, for fame, for money, all this stuff. And a lot of times you end up falling short. It doesn't happen exactly how you envision it. And so you wound up being disappointed. That hit home for me because as someone who is posting videos and is trying to blow up and all this stuff, man, that is something that often happens. I sit there and think, oh, this is about to go viral. This is about to get so many views, and my heart and my mind are in the wrong places. And I wound up just being disappointed. So I wanted to share that with you guys and make sure that you guys are staying prayed up, staying working hard and doing things for the right reasons, man, not just for someone else's approval, man. That's all I got for the halftime speech. Again, next week, I'll be having my boy Chase, who's a diehard Patriots fan, and my boy Bo, who's a diehard Seahawks fan, on the show, and they're going to go at it. I'm going to play a little devil's advocate. I'm going to be instigating like a motherfucker. Ooh, you want to let him talk to you like that? It's going to be a lot of that. All right, so please, please, please stay tuned. You know I'm going to have another video for you real soon.